Hey, good morning. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend. And I can tell you my son and his football team won on Friday, had a great game, but the Dallas Cowboys lost. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than fall and getting up in the morning and going to an old school Italian place and getting all the best meats and breads and making pasta in the morning and having a family day. I know that's what my Sunday looked like. I hope you had a great family weekend as well. And I'll tell you, as it relates to football and the game after the football game on Friday night. Got invited by my old neighbor, all right, Terry and John. Great people, had some fantastic memories. He said, Pat, why don't you swing by and on your way home, say hi to us? I said, okay. So swung by, we had a little conversation, and Terry says, Chelsea called me last week and told me she was a real estate agent, which is what Chelsea's doing. She's calling our friends, our network, and letting people know what she's supposed to do. And in the process of making those calls, lo and behold, she says, I can't believe you're not going to believe this, but John and I think we're going to sell our home. We want to build a home on the lake. And lo and behold, that's what happens when you're active with your database. Happens all the time. So after about half hour, 45 minutes, just shoot the breeze with them, getting caught up. So she goes, yeah, she goes, Pat, what do you think, we can get for this house? And this is the mindset of consumers that really don't know real estate, okay, like you and I know real estate. She says, well, I'll walk you through this. She goes, well, we bought the house for $330, but again, Pat, it didn't have the air conditioner in. We had to put that in. The ductwork was in for central air, but we bought it for $330. They put a beautiful in-ground pool with a lot of beautiful stamped concrete. I think they spent roughly $60,000 on that pool cash, right, and concrete, right. She goes, and we had all the flooring, new molding, new woodwork. She's going on and what they put into the home. She goes, our mud room, completely custom mud room. It's got all this, and Terry and John keep the house very well. It's a beautiful home. Now it is also a Ryan home. If you're not familiar with Ryan Homes, they can fire up a brand new home in about 35 minutes. And she recognized, she goes, now I know it's a Ryan home and everything, but so, we've got well over $100,000 into this, such and such told us that we can probably get $485, for this house, right? It's in a subdivision. They're in the inside of the track. So in other words, their beautiful pool, you can actually see what the neighbors are eating for lunch and dinner over here to the right and left and everything else. But that's the mindset, right? I mean, it makes logical sense not to knock their intelligence or anything. Not that they're stupid or anything else, but that's just the mindset of a consumer. This is what we bought it for. This is what we put in. Granted, I know it's a Ryan home. Maybe we'll take off $14 off of that because it's a Ryan home, right? So I already know that in their head, that that's what they're thinking. But when you look at the houses, and I'm sure my wife will do the comps today to research, probably if I were to guess, a home that sold the most in that neighborhood would probably went for $385, maybe $390, maybe $390. Okay. And they want, 70, 80, 90 grand more than that. Not going to happen. Right. So why? Because Ryan Homes can say, we can build you a brand new home with our new floor plans, new upgrades, and it's brand spanking new roof, new furnace, new everything. For a hell of a lot less than $485, right? And you can also, and you can still get the pool of your choice and design it the way you want. So you're not competing against the builder, right? So it's really important because let's just say my wife goes in there, after doing her comps and research and sits down with Terry and says, Terry, this is what these homes sold for. Granted, your house has these features and upgrades, and you did that. As a result of that, you probably can get, $395 max. I know exactly what Terry's going to do. She's going to call me. Pat, we're going to have to use this other agent because the other agent said we can get $485 for it. And now it turns into a ping pong match, an uncomfortable situation because we're really good friends with them, right? This is how these things come up. So I'm actually going to suggest to my wife, and we'll sit down and be like, guys, we don't even want to take this listing on. Here are the numbers. Here are the numbers. Okay, here's the facts. And here's the danger of the house getting stale and sitting around, and why, right? So, you know, we've got it. It's not me. We're not dictating the price. The market dictates the price of the house, period. And they're very smart people. So they'll understand that, and we'll be able to hit that from a very hand-holding type of manner, because obviously they're very good friends, you know. And with the complete takeaway, hey, you want to choose us? Great. Here's the reality. Here's what we do. Here's our marketing plan. Here's our differential. And here's what we'll price it at. Boom. But here's the built-in price drops if we don't get any offers within the first couple of weeks. So that's what we're going to recommend. So if you go back to what I was saying last week, you know, with the importance of building rapport, let's just scratch that situation. The reason why I brought that story up is because that's how so many people come up with whatever price that's in their head. And if you don't get that out in why, you cannot educate them and get that and then tie it down. Does that make sense? Yes. Right. And so, and then when you do that effectively, when you get out what's in their head first, which is where I ended off on our last conversation, you now can equip them you're in a position now not to discount what they're saying, but to really be in a position as an educator, somebody who's walking them through the process, right? So it's really important to build rapport. And because if you don't build quality rapport, again, 85% of whether they're going to work with you or not is going to be based on the level and the quality of rapport you build with them. Do they get a good feel, vibe, energy, right? Or are you walking around and leading the tour of the house where it's kind of quiet and silent, right? And the spouse decided not to walk with you because they're unguarded up, right? So I always say, get them both. Hey, guys, walk me around this house as if you were selling it to a consumer. Talk to me about what you like. Talk to me about some of the things that you don't like about the house, some of the key features and upgrades you may have made, right? And as you start walking, they start leading, and you really put yourself in a position of ownership. But when I talk about the qualify, this is what's called the warm-up qualify questions, right? Basic questions, which I talked about last week. Tell me about the house. What do you like about it? What are some of the challenges? What is plan B? Where are you guys heading after this? Why? In an ideal scenario, this house would be sold in what time frame? Right away. Are you fully prepared for that? Blah, 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 blah. So you're kind of getting out their urgency, their motive. And it's at that point where you really want to find out, did one of the spouses lose a job? Are they a mortgage payment late? Is it because they're empty nesters and they want to move? You really have to define their urgency, motive, and find out a little bit about the house. Really easy questions, what I call warm-up questions. Then again, the general qualified questions. John and Mary, before we talk about the price of the home, my marketing plan, and what we're gonna do to get this thing sold, can you talk me? What would you say the three or four characteristics and attributes that you're looking for out of a real estate agent do you want? You know, when you say that these 3 or 4 things are important outside of price and commission and marketing of the house, what are the things you're looking for from a real estate agent, right? And they're going to say one of 4 things. They may say 10 things, 20 things. They'll always funnel into communication, integrity, assertiveness, and a strong marketing plan, right? So if you know those 4, that's called sequencing, is the art of asking questions that you're drawing out, you're leading them down to your presentation, because in your presentation you have your commitment and communication guarantee, right? Your expectations. You have testimonials that talk about honesty and integrity. You're going to talk to assertiveness, and then your marketing plan. So you're asking questions that are feeding your presentation, right? So now, when you've defined point A, right, again, which is the qualify, I think it's already written back here. You know, you define point A, you define point B, where are they now, where do they want to go, and why. Your presentation is just linking and showing what you're going to do to get them to point B. And we're going to have these mini trial closes called tie downs every step of the way. Does that make sense? Yes? Boom. Okay. So what I call the 10-point listing presentation. So real quick, let me back up. So we have the general qualifies next, and they're saying those things, and then you bring up the price qualify, right? John and Mary, when you think about the price of your home, I've done my research. I'm going to pull out my information here in just a minute, but I really need to understand what is in your guys' head. I'm sure that you've been thinking about what you can get, and whatever perspective, whether it was research, what you bought it for, what you put into it, and what you want to get out, what you think you want to get out. I really need to understand what you want to get out of this house, what you want to net out of this house, and why, and where you came up with that number. From that point, I'll pull my numbers, and you and I can make an educated decision together. Does that make sense? If you word it that way versus, so what do you guys want to get out of this house? Boom, wall comes up, right? I don't know. I mean, we want to hear your number first. That's the only natural thing when you just took a shot at them, right? But if you built good rapport, you really did a thorough qualify, and you explained why you want to know what's in their head, they're going to tell you, okay? Well, just like Terry did the other night. Well, we would like to, we bought it for $350 or $330. We put $100,000 into it. And the market's appreciated. The economy seems to be doing good. So, we're thinking 485, right? Okay. So now I'm really understanding how they came up with their number. So now I know how to educate them in the presentation phase, how price really works, how it's dictated by supply and demand, the economy, right? So now I can just educate them and then tie it down. Does that make sense? Now, if they say, well, we really would like to sell this house for, $500,000. Again, I'm not using Terry, but any person, I would say then, great. Can you tell me where you came up with that number? Did you do research? Where'd you come up with that number? They may say, well, we checked out Zestimates. We had a friend that sold their house, 7 counties over, same size as ours, say roughly same kind of model. And they got $490 for theirs, but we have this beautiful such and such in here, right? We live on the east side of town or whatever. That's how we came up with that number. Once that they came up with a number, you'll understand that how they came up with their number is not a credible method. It's not factual. It's not accurate. And it's not to tell them that in a defensive way. It's to explain that to them and let them know that that's how most people think, and this is what they do. And the problem with that is it could lead to lowball offers, the house getting stale. And when that happens, you actually will net significantly less money versus coming out with the right price out of the gate and creating that rush and creating that pre-launch, I call it, right? In that early broker open where the people are saying, oh my God, this house isn't going to last. It's priced right, right? And so they're going to get their buyers all ready to go, right? And so we get that situation called multiple offers. And when you're explaining that to people, you can say, you can do whatever. You're the one that's in charge of this thing. I'm just here to educate you and give you my professional recommendation. Does that make sense? Great, Pat, what you recommend? And then I would tell them what I would recommend. You have to have those words locked. So let's go back to the presentation. So it's really important. Ultimately, we're warming up because the tougher qualified question is really around price. You really want to know what's in their head and why. How do they come up with their number? So it does now it's not a ping pong match. If you start bringing out numbers before them and your number is $85,000 less, they're immediately just like, screw this guy. No way. Pam, the other realtor, granted, we don't know her as well, but she said that we were pretty close. She said, right? There's real danger in that. Okay. So we've got to come up and understand why so we can handle that. So let's go to the 10-point presentation. So once we've done a thorough qualify, all you're now going to do is literally go step by step and cover these aspects in this order. About you, a little bit about me, and people love a story, right? Stories sell. I mean, we've known this since, every night I read my daughter a book before she goes to bed, or my wife does. Typically my wife, actually, now that I think about it. And so we learn through stories. So you want to tell them a story, and make it self-edifying, but also, let them know, hey, I'm just a normal human being. So when you tell a story like, John, when I first started, and you can also begin to differentiate yourself from other realtors in this story too. When I first got my license such and such years ago, I really didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't have any money, but I really wanted the American dream, and I got involved. I had no idea how this whole thing worked, and I fell on my face, and and then I got some coaching and mentoring, and really decided that this was something I wanted to be an expert at. What I've come to learn over the years is that the challenge, that I was having was that I really didn't know how blah, 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 right? So you can let them know. So now that I've been doing this successfully, and really what it takes to be a great realtor, number one, you really need to have capital to invest in marketing one's home, because if you don't market it the right way, you're not going to get multiple offers. That's one of the things that I really didn't have back then that I do have now. And you have to have support. One of the things that I have now is a whole team around me, anything I want, so you're building in your story credibility, right? We're also letting them know, hey, I didn't always start here, I got here. So so that story should really begin to, without bashing anyone, we never want to do that, begin to separate yourself from most of the agents out there, so they can begin to file who you are versus the marketplace. So there's your opportunity to do that. Very short, to the point, and this is where I would have a slide, and you can have on your laptop, on your, I like having the tablet because you can have it down, boom, take it right to your eyeballs, and put it face down. And then when you want to pop it up, boom, it's right there, right? And, and John, one of the early things you said you wanted was communication. You said a couple different times, you said a couple different ways. So I know communication important to you. Bam, this is my commitment to communicate. It's 3.5 paragraphs long. It's signed by me at the bottom. I'm going to leave you with a hard copy here today, but all it says, I'm going to call you once a week, let you know what offers I've gotten, what people are saying, et cetera, so on and so forth. If I do get an offer, I'm going to call you right away within 15 minutes of that, and we'll have that discussion. And this is my, I'm going to talk about my marketing plan and the steps and the stage, and leave you with a marketing calendar here today to let you know where we're at in relationship with that marketing plan, what the next steps are. My cell phone number is here should you need to contact me. I'm on the phones every day from 9 to noon. However, if you have an urgent need, I'm going to ask that you text me, and I will get back to you as soon as I'm able. But I do block off 9 to noon and protect that time for growing my business. The rest of the day, I'm pretty flexible. If you have an urgent need, you can always contact my assistant. Her name is, or his name is such and such, right? So is this consistent with the type of communication that you would want and expect from your realtor? Yes, great. And we have a match there. You take your pen and you cross it off on your book right in front of them. The next thing you discussed was you really wanted to work with an agent that had credibility, integrity, honesty, and I'll share with you, this is how I built my entire business. It means the absolute most to me. In fact, rather than me just going through ad-lib, Claire, if we can scroll down and actually cover the words that I created in this presentation, that'd be awesome. And so you now there's where you're going to show testimonials, because you can't just tell people I have integrity. This is what I do. I go to church every Sunday. I love, blah, 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 blah. You got to say, John, this is how I built my business. It's the cornerstone of everything that I believe in. It's built into my mission and vision statement is doing the right things. My goal actually is to not sell homes. My goal is to create a referral client for life. I can only do that as if I do the right things by people and make them happy. That makes sense? Yes. As a result, I'm going to leave you with a couple hard copies here, but I would like to show you my 5-star rating on here, my 5-star rating there, and a couple comments. And by the way, this is where you can use Prezi, is you can actually pull up a video testimonial at this point. They really involve multimedia. Boom, you hit the play button on your laptop or iPad. And now it's, hi, this is John Smith, and this my wife, Ann Smith. And I can't say enough good things about Pat Fenton as our real estate agent. We had 16 different agents come in here that we talked to, and we were friends with many of them. The reason why we chose Pat is because of his marketing plan, number one. That was his differential. However, we got much more than that. We listed our house and blah, blah, blah. We got 3 offers in 7 days, sold it on the 8th day. And we're just really, really happy with the quality of real estate agent that he is, whatever, okay? Really important to get video testimonials. And you can just have them on YouTube, right? And so just have people, by the way, how do you get those? People are the most excited about you and the most emotional right at the closing table, right? So of course you want to attend closings, but when that's an opportune time to get a video testimonial, you can't hide the smile on their face, the genuineness, if you will. Boom, get it on your phone, right? Have it ready. Make sure the audio quality is good by just having them mic'd up, right? you know, and direct them with what you want them to say before they hit the record button in general terms, okay? So it says here that, all right, so we cover that. Number 4, okay? Right here, right, my hopes work up just a little bit. Okay, that's fine. You can leave it there. John, the lion's share of real estate agents are part-timers, not professional real estate agents. That's up to you if you want to include that or not. Again, always sell big person bigger. So if you deliver that the right way, meaningful way, that they'll know that you're not bashing other people. You just have to be careful. You can take that out. It's up to you. But you can just simply say most agents, they simply do the 3 Ps when it comes to selling their house. When I talk about assertiveness and work ethic, the 3 Ps of putting the house on the MLS, putting a sign in front of the yard, and praying that somebody actually sells it. The reality, John, is that anyone can sell your home. When I say anyone can sell your home, but few can maximize your net takeaway. It really takes hustle, making the calls, networking with agents in my database, turning over every rock, and being proactive on the marketing side, which I'm going to talk about next. But my goal isn't to sell you a home. Like I said, John, my goal is to sell your home as fast as possible, maximize what you net, and make you a referring client for life. In order to do that, I have to bust my tail, execute a multifaceted marketing plan that creates a rush, and God willing, put you in a multiple offer situation. But make no bones about it, John. I am a pit bull when it comes to executing and negotiating on my client's behalf, and that's just not something I take lightly. Does that make sense, you guys? You guys got a sense that I work and turn over every rock? Yes. Okay, great. Right. Scroll up. The next, or down, depending on how you look at it. The marketing plan. Right. So you're hitting those general qualifiers right now. You're presenting around the things they said they wanted. Right. John, I'd like to start with the facts of my marketing plan makes sense to you. So I'm not going to walk you through all 55 points of my 55-point marketing plan, but I would like to highlight a few items that differentiate me from most agents. And I'm going to leave this with you here. Boom, you give them their marketing timeline, which thank you, Ron Mez. I think it's a great idea. So that you know what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. But when it comes to marketing, I put resources. I put resources on the things that work, quite simply put. Right? So let me word that again. But when it comes to marketing, I put my resources on the things that work. It's important, therefore, for me to educate you on both what does work today and what doesn't. So let's start with the facts. Number 1, 1% of homes are sold from an open house, right? So I know you know that, John. So some agents come in here, you say, they'll take on a listing. It's a price 30, 40, 100 grand more than what they know the house will actually sell for. And they'll take on that listing so that they can use your home as a marketing piece, throw up a bunch of open houses so they can get buyers, and then beat you to death and tell you to lower the price every single week, right? Not me. Well, I will still do open houses, and they're still part of the fundamentals of selling a home. And I do them for all my clients because sometimes when showing another home, I'm able to find a candidate to drive into your home. So we cross-pollinate those. But more importantly is the broker open I'm doing, because 33% of homes sold come from other agents in the market introducing your home to their clients. And so 33%, that number comes from the National Association of Realtors, and you can have that supported if they challenge you on that. I have a very good relationship with agents in our community, and they know that I do things right. So part of my marketing blitz is email, video, email, text campaign, phone calls to agents that I know to promote an effective broker open. Not all of them, of course, will come to the open, but they will all know about your home in ample time as part of that pre-launch, and we'll have all the collaterals, images, and videos to present to their qualified buyers. Make sense? Yes, great. That's a big thing, and I may even tag that on. And John, 33% come from other agents. We want to make sure that we provide them with a motivation to want to sell your home. Does that make sense? Yes. When they say yes to that, I can now bring that back up to them when we talk about the commission, because if they want to lowball the commission and you start lowballing the buyer's end, and you neuter their ability to really want to drive, and most agents sell 5 homes or less, they're going to look at the listings and certainly put their money where their mouth is and show the houses where they can make some money because they're starving, right? So it's really important to set that up and tie that down there, okay? They said, yes, it's important. We want to make sure that other agents are motivated to show our property, because 33% of sales come from other agents bringing buyers. So 24% of homes are sold as a result of proactive marketing, meaning not just waiting for people to put in search criteria, but marketing your home to as many eyeballs as we possibly can. Now, traditional media like print, TV, newspaper, radio used to be an effective medium to sell homes, but the consumer's eyes and ears have shifted to the mobile device, as you're well aware of. So me and my team will launch an aggressive mobile, social, and digital marketing campaign that includes Facebook, Instagram, YouTube posts, videos, and actual ad campaigns to get your home sold proactively and in front of every consumer in our market. On top of that, and this is one of my biggest differentials, and this is where you'll begin to insert your UVPs, right? Is me and my team are going to geo-target a 25-mile radius around your home and pull full contact information, cell phone numbers of 1,000 surrounding neighbors, and we're going to call 1,000 names on that list. Nothing, and I mean nothing, beats jumping on the phone and talking to potential buyers and driving them to your home for a showing. And this alone wipes out 99% of the agents who, number one, don't know how to get access to this kind of data and information, or number two, wouldn't even consider actually picking up the phone, making calls. So this ties back to the work ethic, John. You see the difference of what I'm talking about. Yes, I'm shaking my head. Yes, great. Absolutely. It's a big deal and a huge part of how we're actually able to get your home sold fast. Now, just so you guys know, that is a lot of perceived value, but you know, through our partnerships that we recommend, one of them being LandVoice, example, you can pull that geo-targeted information really quickly and do a direct to voicemail campaign where you upload a list and you hit send, and now you have a voicemail to 1,000 names, right? So it's all on positioning, right? So you know, it is perceived value, right? One of the people I was talking with, Denver, that does a really good job of utilizing a company called Box Brownie, where they really talk about quality of images, which I built in here now because I like their tidbit. And it costs $1.50, but in the consumer's brain, you're doing all this editing. They visualize somebody in their team. Hey guys, here's the pictures on the HD camera. Let's create a cotton candy sky, greener grass, a dusk background, right? And the consumer thinks that this whole marketing team working on the images, right? When you paid Box Brownie $1.50 an image to edit it. So a lot of the things here, although they are valuable, but we use technology that most people don't understand and don't know is available to create humongous perceived value. And it actually is real value as well, but it really doesn't cost a lot of money, okay? Now, John, your home's gonna be syndicated to over 700 search-related websites. So in simple terms, if someone puts a search criteria that matches your home, it would actually be impossible for your home not to show up, John and Mary. But I also want you to know how important the first 2 weeks are. And believe me, those first 2 weeks are critical when it comes to netting the most amount of money possible. So the pre-launch is very important. How we position this and build it up, okay? The coming soon. Part of this is making sure that the home is clean stage and having my guy or girl come in here and take high resolution images of the interior and exterior. I'm also gonna have a video tour so that mobile users can hit a button and be taken virtually through the entire home. And we'll also have drone service come in here and take pictures and video of the outside of the property as well. So you like what you're hearing so far, John and Mary? Yes? Okay, cool. We just don't take pictures of your home. We have advanced software that uses enhanced. Here it is, guys. So that we use to enhance the important images that we want to really stress. So we'll often put in cotton candy sky behind the outside images or greener grass. Little things, John. Let me just show you a couple examples. Boom, you take them right to difference. Most people don't know that dusk actually gets more clicks, okay, than bright sunny images of homes, right? So we can make your home, regardless of what the outside is, a dusk setting. We can put cotton candy background, greener grass. These are some of the things that me and my team, Show Depth, do. So it's not here, I'm at the third paragraph. So it sounds like no big deal, but it's actually a very big deal, John and Mary, because today's consumer, 90% of the shopping for a home begins online. So the quality of images dramatically increases your foot traffic, which you and I both want. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, cool. Putting a sign out front is obvious, John, and that's something that isn't different than most realtors. But what is different is about my branding. You won't see a picture of me holding my cat or my cell phone in my ear, I promise. Now, depending on your personality, at this point, I'm a jokester, right? And now I will get very serious. But you know, if you want to kind of, the way I envision selling is you're starting to really, you know, take them down to shoot at this point. So if you really want to do a pattern interrupt and make it light, make them laugh, you can do that, but you got to have the right personality to do that. So my personality, I would totally do this, right? But if I didn't feel it, I wouldn't do it. You just know when the opportunity is right. John and Mary, outside, very professionally branded sign. You're not going to see me holding my cat up, petting my cat, or holding my cell phone to my ear like you see a lot of agents do. You know, it's just a little thing, and they may laugh at that, okay? So again, this is my marketing plan, and I'm going to leave you with the schedule so you'll know when each of these phases is being executed. I just wanted to highlight a few things so you know the differentials between me and most of the agents that are out there, and you had a comfort level of knowing that this is the best marketing plan that you can have in real estate. Do you guys like what you're seeing and hearing so far? Is this in alignment with your expectations? Yes? Okay. You know, and if they say no, or they ask questions, you know, address it. But if they say yes, these are tie downs every step of the way. Does that make sense? And I'm nodding my head. Yes, great. Price. You know, here's where the trial close comes in. We're going to end here and finish tomorrow with the rest of this, and then tomorrow's all going to be about handling price, the net sheet, and the close. But here's where your trial close comes in. John and Mary, assume before I dive into price and commission with you that we have both agreed on the price of your home based on what you've heard so far. Do you think, based on what I have covered, that I am capable of selling your home? Yes. Fantastic. Okay, and if you get anything but a yes at this point, this is your checkpoint. They may say, well, again, really ultimately comes down to price. If they say it sarcastically, if they say something that's kind of adversarial, I'm asking that question for one reason. I want to know and not just hear what they say, but I want to study their physiology as they say it. That's when I'm going to tell whether I got them. Your trial close is really important. In my seminars, I do this. Guys, before we move forward, you know, if you know to be true, you need this, you need that, you need this. Let me see your show of hands. Everybody raise their hand. That's how I know I got people, right? Got them, not meaning got them, but that you're doing the right things. You're taking them down the chute the right way. They have clarity, okay? So we're going to end here, guys. With that trial close is something that most people won't do because they don't have the confidence to do a trial close. And if you're going down and doing the presentation and you're showing them the testimonials, you're showing them what you're going to do, you're showing them your commitment to communicate, you're highlighting, here's your 55-point marketing plan, and then boom, what's really cool is, you know, if you can do, you know, your 55-point marketing plan, and all of a sudden what zooms up are the 5 really key things you really want to talk about that are different. And you can talk to these points and use your words and your tool, which is on your iPad or your laptop or even your pitch book. They're getting clarity every step of the way. And then you tie everything down. Do you like that? Do you like what you see so far? Do you understand the differences? Yes, great. So that trial close is, John, before we move forward and we talk about price and getting this thing sold, based on the marketing plan and the things that I've covered thus far, do you believe that I can sell you this home? And again, that is my gauge, okay? And I'll know whether I've got work to do. I'll know whether this thing's done, toast, ready to go, which the better you get at these questions and rapport building and the early phases of the presentation, you're gonna know. Like that trial close is red light, green light, or yellow light. Yellow light means I got some work to do. And depending on the level, now if they actually get, you know, are abrasive at that point and it came out of left field, I'll stop and continue to go back to the qualify and understand why that happened, right? John, everything was fantastic, and I just noticed a change in your physiology and so forth. There's something that you want to share with me, something that's bothering you. Well, yeah, and they'll bring it up, and then we talk about it. Then you squash it, tie it down, and move on, right? So therefore, you really never close somebody who isn't already closed. You never go in the close unless you know it's done, right? So you see what I'm saying? That's what most people don't understand. Most people go into the close not knowing what the heck they're going to say. And they go, oh my God, they said yes, or oh my God, I got this big objection. Where did this come from, right? Great salespeople, the objections are coming out the entire way. Then use of tie downs and trial closes tell you whether or not they're and then therefore your objection handling is very minimal. You follow me, guys? So this is what the best do. And it's really important for you to really dive into what I'm saying is It's really advanced selling. I mean, if you think about it, the best sales presentation you gave, right? You qualified, you presented, you tied it down, you trial closed them, and you closed them. Okay, does that make sense? The more I can get you to do that and think in those terms, the more you will never ever be surprised at what comes out of the consumer's brain in the close. When you're filling out that paperwork and you've done the right things, there's no question. You're not wondering, oh my God, are they going to say yes or no? Oh my God, I'm just doing this. And it actually feels cheesy when you're doing the paperwork close if you didn't do the right qualify and the right presentation. And it actually comes across poor. But if you did do the tie downs and the trial close, it makes sense in their brain why you're filling the damn form out. And it makes sense to you, obviously. So it's not an awkward situation at all. So we'll talk about we'll deliver price. We'll talk, we're going to assume commission. If commission comes up, I've got a great rebuttal for you. And then we'll talk objection handling tomorrow. Possibly do a role play with somebody from upstairs. So guys, happy Monday to you. Did you go through your morning routine, or did you have 5 pounds of pasta from Rubino's yesterday and 3 glasses of wine, and you're like, oh my God, I got to go to work? You know, let's get exercise, right? Hit the gym, get your body moving, get in the right state of mind. Did you look at your goals? Are they written down, right? Do you know why you're doing this for a living? What are you driving towards? It certainly isn't working for the sake of working. You'll hate it. But you're working towards what, right? You're doing this for what? You're being the best you can be for what reason? So when you remind yourself that every single day, you actually get a new level of excitement. So have an awesome day. Happy Monday. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace out. This is Coach Pat.